All right, so President Cyril Ramaphosa will today host his Angolan counterpart, that's President Joao Lourenco. The aim is to strengthen ties between Pretoria and Luanda. Angola is one of the countries that opened its doors to South African freedom fighters during Apartheid. The two leaders will also address a business forum that's aimed at forging a new era of cooperation. The SABC International Desk is watching the story from a number of vantage points. Let's bring in now editor Sophie Mokoena, who joins us now live from the Union Buildings. And the relationship, of course, between South Africa and Angola dates a couple of years back, Sophie, especially because the governing parties then of both countries have had to collaborate on a number of fronts.
Yes, indeed. The relationship dates back to exile years. You know that there were ANC cadres who were trained in Angola, but they also fought side by side with the Liberation Organization in Angola. As you know, that the frontline states in the southern region were working together to try and liberate the region. Who can forget Mozambique? Who can forget Namibia? And of course, South Africa, the Liberation Organization, particularly the ANC, working in those countries. So Angola is quite a strategic country. I remember at some point in time, the former Minister of Minerals and Energy, at that time it was Dr. Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, visited Angola with some business people from South Africa. I was part of that delegation as SABC. We covered stories. At that time there was an interest in Angola, particularly to strengthen the relations on hospitality, including mining and also oil and gas. But when I look at the picture right now, it doesn't speak to that, because you'd recall how long was Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka in that position, now later becoming a deputy president. When I look at the trade volume between the two countries, I don't see a huge improvement. I think South Africa is trying to do just that. Now, I have with me the South African ambassador to Angola, who is going to speak to us about this. The good thing about him, he will also be able to speak to us starting with the relations between South Africa and Angola in relation to the liberation of this country, as a former MK member and who worked with people, the late Tito Mboweni. Ambassador, good to see you. Not in Burundi this time. Now you are in Angola. Let's start with the relationship between South Africa and Angola. It dates back to exile years. You are an MK member. You are now a diplomat. Just tell us about the relationship and how the Liberation Organization fought side by side with the cadres of Angola.
Yes, Sophie, thank you very much. My name is Ambassador Mnareng. When I look into the relationship between ourselves and Angola, those relationships are very historical, precisely because when I was a young kid, I happened to find myself training in the camps. So Angola is important because of that. They provided training camps for us when many countries of the world couldn't. So I became an ambassador in Angola. I was welcomed back home far away from home. So now I'm there. I've been there for 4 years, 2026. And when I touched the ground running, then I was looking at the strengthening of the bilateral relations and making sure, because Angola was to hold the binational commission, which this visit is actually going to come solid prepared to making sure that after this state visit, few months after the next financial year, then we can have binational commission, which will be hosted by Angola.
Let's look at trade and investment. I want to touch on the issue of oil and gas. Yes. What is South Africa's view in terms of tapping into the resources of Angola, but not necessarily taking the resources and leaving Angolans empty-handed in terms of beneficiation or increasing production and industrialization?
Yeah, first of all, Angola is busy with building in about 6 provinces of refineries. oil refineries, and South Africa is interested in participating in making sure that they build the refineries so as to get quality, products and outputs. So in terms of oil and gas, we are very interested. We are interested in, mining, and we are interested in agriculture. So today there will be a business forum which constitutes Angolan companies. I think Angolan companies have sent about 80 companies. South Africa is bringing more than 100 companies. So it shows that the interest is big, and Angola, because it's a strong, economy, in SADC, both South Africa and Angola, they wield the power of a strong economy. So that is why it's important for the benefit of SADC that South Africa and Angola should have a strong bilateral relationship.
Let's talk about political relations, but also issues on the continent. The issue of the DRC, you have South Africa having deployed troops as part of the SADC contingent in the eastern part of the DRC to try and assist in bringing peace in the eastern part of the DRC. You have Angola as the outgoing chair of SADC, having been involved in mediating, particularly on the thorny issue of Rwanda and the DRC. Are we likely going to see the two leaders talking about peace and security in the region as you are now hosting the outgoing chair of the region?
This point in time, remember, Sophie, that Angola chaired SADC previously, and the chairpersonship of SADC is Zimbabwe. So during the SADC, Angola chairing, SADC, the president visited Angola more than 3 times. Our president, His Excellency Matamela Ramaphosa, so he visited. So he's very serious about the attainment of peace and security in SADC, in the continent, and in the world. And we said 2030 there should be the silencing of the gun. So that project is an important project, and that is why it's one of the reasons that the president of Angola, His Excellency Joao Lourenco, is here to also make sure that they agree on issues which pertains to peace, and making sure that the M23, they get into ending. So at this point in time, it's difficult for the M23 to agree. Some of the discussions were held without their consent. They say they cannot be drawn in. They are refusing. So I hope our president will raise that point sharply.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. It's good to see you back in the country. That is our South African ambassador in Angola. He was in Burundi and now he is in Angola, and he's no stranger to Angola. That is why that important history background of the relationship. But I think the matter of the eastern part of the DRC, here you have it, and their view is that the military cannot be a solution. You must also bring in the diplomatic solution, because with the diplomatic solution, you'll find a lasting peace. But let's hope the two leaders, President Tshisekedi and President Paul Kagame, will soon meet in Luanda as part of those Luanda talks. And we can see a situation where ordinary people in the DRC, the Congolese, are living side by side, and there's peace in the eastern part of that country with those minerals that are so critical for the development of the continent. Back to you in studio.
So much to think about, and no doubt Sophie Mokoena will cover all those angles as we continue watching that story. Sophie Mokoena, thanks very much indeed. Our international desk editor, live to us there from the Union Buildings in Pretoria.